Hello, world, and welcome to another episode of Trust the Tape.
My name is Jeff.
Cavanaugh, that is. My name is Jeff. I'm seated next to former Cowboy scout Bryan Broaddus. I like to say from the Doing All Right podcast.
Hey, Brian.
Thank you. Thank
Hey,
you very
Brian.
much, sir. Appreciate that. All good?
You can also see from 105.3 The Fan with the thing above his head back there, and you can also see that man with the Lombardi trophy right there. So if you don't listen when Bryan Broaddus talks, what in the world are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Brian, I'm going to fire off a tweet that says we're live. So you tell me what's on your brain today. What you got cooking? What you got cooking up there, Brian?
Well, Jeffrey, it is the last day of June. And so we're still doing June radio, kind of coming up with some hot takes, maybe some lists, maybe some things that, we're kind of thinking about, maybe some deep dives on some things. I was curious, though, about this offense. And I don't know if we got a whole lot from what we were able to see during OTAs, the mini camps and stuff. I was curious of what this scheme might actually be. And then I want to bring it into the circle of, we currently have a coach in the NFL named Dave Canellis, who is at Carolina, who is a Pete Carroll disciple and all that stuff like that.
Holy cow, this man is in wonderful shape. What a handsome man. He gives me hope.
Very
He's
handsome.
44 years old, and that man
Yeah.
looks like an Adonis. What a handsome man.
Yeah, he's got everything together.
Yeah,
Got everything together.
Yeah.
Good looking guy. But he is kind of in the hot seat at Carolina. And this is a guy that has a pretty, for a young guy, has a pretty savvy kind of way of calling offense. But, maybe his quarterback has held him back. But I wonder if who are we getting here? If you're a Cowboy fan, are you getting Dave Canellis, who has struggled, to get that Carolina offense going? Or are we going to get something completely different that okay, this is more like, and we all like to talk about the outstanding play callers. And I include Andy Reid in this. Andy Reid's, I think, a really good play caller. But the McVays, the Shanahans, even our guy down there in Cohen, down there in Jacksonville, I think has got some creativity to his game. I say the word creativity, meaning finding ways to take advantage of, Ben Johnson, the way he was able. And Ben Johnson had really good personnel, wide receivers, offensive line, quarterback that doesn't turn it over. What are we getting with this guy? Are we getting one of those types? Are we getting a Dave Canellis who has a high regard as of 3 years ago, and now he's on the hot seat at Carolina?
Brian, as you said, it is the end of June. We're about 2 to 3 weeks away from real content. So on this one, honestly, I'd love to have a spicy hot take for you about what Schottenheimer's going to be. But the honest truth is, I think, one, I don't know, and two, it's going to be somewhere in the middle. I think he's had enough of a career that if he were Sean McVay, we would know that.
Sure.
Unless he was just totally living under Pete Carroll's thumb in Seattle and it was Mike McCarthy's offense here. I think there's been enough of Brian Schottenheimer that I know he's not Sean McVay. And Russell Wilson did have his best years under Schottenheimer. So
that's a media go-to line right there.
Yeah, well, but it's true. And it's, I don't even like the offense they ran when he was there, because I feel like that was very Pete Carroll driven of, boy, we really want 3 yards in a cloud of dust and to protect the football and to do all that.
Sure.
And I don't think you ultimately win in the year of our Lord 2025 in the NFL doing things that way. And I also think I have some worries about the way this thing is built if he wants to do it the way he did it in Seattle, where everybody does bring up, hey, look, Russ's best years, because that was very much run the ball, pew. And that could be fun. But if your goal is to build that sort of offense, I'm still really surprised at what they didn't do at running back. I'm going to have to be really surprised by a positive regression by one of the veterans that you brought in for you to give him a chance to do that, because I just look at this roster And I say, man, I hope Brian Schottenheimer's ready to have a whole bunch of fun and wing this thing around, because the best things you got is wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, QB1. It ain't the running backs. I don't know if you care about Pro Football Focus rankings, but they have the Cowboys
that near the bottom. Yeah.
And I don't think that's
Not
crazy.
near the bottom, at the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think that's crazy to think that you look at any other roster and they have somebody that is you feel better about as a starter, unless we can get a pleasant surprise from Jaden Blue, who it's all just whispers and scuttlebutt at this point, but who might be struggling to become a pro or whatever. Just the fact that at OTAs, it seems like it was in minicamp, it was Javonte, it was Miles,
it was
Turpin, it was Blue taking reps with Deuce, so I know I've wandered from your initial question, but
no, I mean, I think
they know that's how my brain works. It just goes wherever the hell it goes. And so, yes, all of those things, pick and choose which one you'd like to talk about.
No, I mean, I think that I think it's fair. I have the similar concerns about the learning curve with Blue, and the key for him is going to be how quickly he picks things up. How quickly does he pick up? It's, pretty much young running backs can be plug and play.
Yeah.
But if I really knew what this offense was, then I could say, well, he's going to have a tough time because they've got multiple this and multiple that, and they have to be able to do this and do that. I don't know that right now. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for the sake that, to me, it always appears that when Dak Prescott is at his absolute best, it's throwing the ball about 30, 32 times. It's when now maybe this offense is going to have to throw the ball 40 something times a game. Maybe they are, just because of your best weapons are on the outside at tight end. They're not at running back. Well, if you throw the ball to the running back, maybe. That gets running the football might be very difficult for this group.
Dude, even the running backs that we have now, like, the best thing about Jaden Blue coming out of college is what? I think most people would say, I think he can run the ball just fine at the NFL level, but it's like a lot of receiver stuff. And Javonte Williams, who hopefully not washed, knock on wood, I think he's a fairly generic, really a third down back. Like, he's a full-size dude that can run the ball fine. That's fine. But I don't think where you're going to trust him is to protect your quarterback and catch the ball on third down. So we're redundant with the guy we're hoping is explosive with the guy that we brought in that's not explosive. And I just do not like their running back room, and I just want to be wrong. I want to be wrong.
No, I think we all want to be wrong about that. I'm just trying to think of what's the best path for this quarterback to get back to that MVP type player that he was a couple of years ago. What do we have to do offensively, scheme wise, to make that happen? And there's a side of me that is hopeful again that Brian Schottenheimer was watching this team operate under Mike McCarthy, and in his mind he's thinking, man, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. And the fact that they don't have a bunch of holdover coaches, maybe he's going to be able to do what he wants to do when it comes to scheme wise. And I don't know. I mean, we could pigeonhole him and call him a Pete Carroll disciple. And you talked about it earlier. You weren't fond of Pete Carroll's scheme, but there's people that believe that Dallas needs to try and find a way to run the football. And so I wonder I wonder how patient Schottenheimer is going to be with that. And are these new coaches, we've talked about Arizona's ability to run the football and what they were able to do with, and Connor's a good back. I think it's a good back. I'd love to have him in this, on our team. But I just wonder, this is the first time in a long time that I've gone into a season. This goes all the way back to the Jason Garrett administration when he started, that I don't really have an idea of what they're going to do offensively.
I think that's fun. I think it's fun I think the unknown in sports is super fun. And I think when you add in the fact that they actually did an incredibly fun move this offseason by adding George Pickens, I think that's awesome. And I think if you have to place your faith in something about this offense, I think for me, it's probably less that I know that Brian Schottenheimer will do this and more that the vast majority of the time when this quarterback plays all of the games, you have a really good offense.
You have a good offense.
And then the part that I hope can help them out a lot is very much revolving around different coaches. It's the guy Riley and Clayton. Like it's the guys that when you hear enough people talk about an individual coach or a group of players that maybe aren't getting coached the way you would love it, and when you hear it from enough people, I am absolutely convinced that you're going to be better coached on the offensive line. And if that can mean something for Terrence Steele, which breaks my own rules of once it's been a certain number of years, I got to stop hoping that somebody's going to become something different. But hopefully with Clayton Adams and staff, you are looking at a position group that it's just been like, oh, we had a bad coach.
Yeah.
And now you've got somebody who does have a track record of taking whatever he's got and getting the most out of it. And maybe that can help Tyler Guyton, and maybe that can help. I don't think Cooper Beebe needs a readjustment. Like I believe he's going to be a good player this year. I believe that Tyler Booker as a rookie is going to be a good NFL player. So I believe you got some parts to work with. And if you can find a way to get the best out of Terrence Steele and a jump from Tyler Guyton, and you added George Pickens, well, we're about to hang 30 on people, Brian. We're about to. Yeah. But I don't know. Can you block?
Yeah.
Are your running backs worth it? Those are my things, is how well can you block and how much can it hurt a team if your running backs aren't good?
Can you get an idea about this scheme in training camp? Can you get a?
I think so. Because I think it would be hard to hide everything you're doing. Like I think
I'm not saying hide, but do you feel like that? Well, is it one of those things where if the offense has success, then it becomes, oh my gosh, we got defensive concerns now, that kind of thing? And are they ever going to be able? Is it going to be one of those things? Well, they're moving the ball on themselves, and we know that the secondary is not what it needs to be yet. They do have a pass rush. See, I have some concerns too about teams coming into this thing and just throwing the ball on Dallas, blocking the front and throwing the ball. I mean, and people talk about worry about running it and stuff like that.
I worry about both. I worry about both. I think if a team wants to line up and run on Dallas, it won't be a problem. And I think if a team wants to line up and throw on Dallas, it won't be a problem. I need Eberflus to be a monster, because I think we could go back to the things where they do every position unit, which I appreciate it because it's June and you need content. And I saw the linebacker rankings this morning, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, Dallas has to be low, because I don't think they have anybody on the roster that you're like, watch out, that dude's coming to town. And sure enough, the Cowboys are ranked 27th. So 32nd at running back, 27th at linebacker. There's no way you're going to be ranked high at safety. These may already be out. I don't know. Cornerback, when you're hoping for,
I think the front was top 12. I think the front was.
What was that? The full D line?
Full D line. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Micah Parsons will put you in the top 12. Yeah. That'll happen. But I think the pass rush will be good. I think they got a lot of bodies that can rush.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying.
Really good about.
Yeah, you just worry if the pass rush does not get home. These are all concerns. I just, like I say, I was just thinking about the offense today, because, like I said, the first time in a long time, I don't have an idea. I mean, I'm like you. I'm excited about it. I think all Cowboy fans should be excited about it. I think the Cowboy fans should be excited about that Brian Schottenheimer went out and got a bunch of different new coaches. That's where that's where my excitement level is, that maybe we're going to steal some things. I know that I I asked Schottenheimer this question when he was an offensive coordinator. I'm like, you know, how do you steal your stuff? And he goes, you don't steal, I'm like, please don't tell me you're not stealing ideas from people.
Steal everything.
I go, Andy Reid is one of my dear friends, and Andy stole a lot from people. And that's why he's one of the better coordinators in the league. And he still to this day, they steal stuff.
I think as an offensive coordinator, I don't have near the working knowledge of how all the individual pieces work together. I once upon a time played the sport, but I just knew what I was supposed to run on each play. So I would not be capable of doing that job. But my version of it would be I'd steal every play.
Yeah.
My whole playbook would just be the best plays I've seen other people run.
I think there's things you could scheme yourself because of the personnel you have. But yeah, I was surprised when I asked him that question and he says, we really, maybe he was just pulling my leg. I think the really good coaching staffs have somebody on it. And I remember working in Green Bay with John Gruden and Steve Mariucci and Andy Reid and those guys. And they were constantly stealing plays from other people. Matter of fact, the screen packages today that Andy Reid runs is from a Minnesota Viking team in the early 90s. Steal. That's what you got to do. So it's exciting and terrifying all the same time that I don't know what the scheme is going to be. I know who the actors are, but I've yet to see the play. I know who the actors are. I'm excited about the actors. I'm excited about the stage, but I hope that I could be able to kind of learn some things at training camp that leads me to believe. Now, I learned a little bit just the OTA practice and it was one of the last ones of the mini camp practice. Didn't see much of Blue. Did see CeeDee Lamb hand him the ball. I did see Turpin get handed the ball. I was just like, it's like, okay, is Blue something going on here with Blue? Am I missing something here? I hope. He is such an explosive player. I hope, But
he can just look. You have to treat him like you have to treat some of the number one diva wide receivers. You call the play in the huddle, and when you're done saying all the words, you turn to Jaden and you say, "That means run between the guard and tackle," and I'm going to hand it to you. All right, break.
Yeah, break. Hey, Jeff, let me ask you this question. We had this discussion Zach Wolchuk and I did on 105.3 The Fan, and then also on Love of the Star podcast.
Oh, indeed. Okay.
Could you have two special teams players in your top 10? Of players?
I'm going to make an accusation here, Brian, and you're going to have to ask Wooly Bully for confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Wooly Bully might have seen what I was tweeting.
Did he steal it from you?
So Bob Sturm every offseason asks me to rank the Cowboys 1 through 60, rank the roster. And so while I was starting to do it, I was looking at it.
By the way, real quick, Jeff, if I could, Rich, it's not a negative Monday. Really, we're having fun here. It's June Radio.
Rich.
June Radio, man. We're just talking.
Some fun. I got you, Rich. Hold on.
Talking, man.
I got you, Rich.
Yeah, this is a hot dog bun. That is a hot dog, too.
Hot dog or bun situation here. Did Zach Wolchuk bun this or hot dog it? So I was doing my rankings, and I did tweet out. I was like, how high is too high to have a specialist if you're ranking the roster?
No, he didn't do that. He asked me the top 10.
But he's saying, are there two in the top 10? Because there's
I put two in my top 10. I put two, and he and I were talking about it. He didn't do it. I did it. And I'm asking you, and you sound
I could see that being the genesis for the conversation is what I'm saying. And that's the investigation of bun or hot dog that we'll get to. I think absolutely, because I think the Cowboys are super top heavy. We could do it right now. You ready to do 1 through 10 for the Cowboys? Number 1 and 2. You can make me put them in order if you want, but it's CeeDee and Micah. I don't care. I don't care the order.
Yeah, I went Lamb 1, Parsons 2.
No problem. 3, you might go Tyler Smith.
So I had.
Okay. 4, you might go Dak.
That's who I had.
5, you start running into trouble. And that's when Brandon Aubrey enters the conversation, whether you put him there or not. That's where he enters the conversation.
Put George Pickens at 5 and be on your
Oh
merry
yeah,
way.
I did. I put Pickens at 5, and I was really excited about it because I was like, okay, I'm not putting the kicker ahead of George Pickens.
There you go.
So it was George Pickens, but then I think you're down to your Osa, Bland,
Osa at
kicker.
6. Osa at
Okay.
6.
Osa at 6.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not putting Bland at 7, I think you're putting the
Bland's
kicker.
at 7. Bland's at 7.
And if you go to 8 and you're not putting
Ferguson?
No, Ferguson. You don't want Jake Ferguson to be your 7th or 8th best player, do you? You got to put the kicker there, Brian.
I put the kicker at 9, and I put Turpin at 10.
Okay, you put there you go. There
Now,
you go.
I mean, you're right. I mean, you could have put Aubrey at 8, Turpin at 9, Ferguson at 10. I mean, you could have done something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is now. Let me ask, and this is what the question that Zach Wolchuk did ask. Is that a bad sign that you have 2 special teams players in your top 10?
Absolutely. Absolutely positive to the guy who said about the negative Monday. Absolutely, that's a bad thing. You would absolutely rather
That's our buddy Rich. Rich, I think, was saying we were negative today.
You would absolutely rather name non-kicker and returner. Like, I love having probably the best kicker in the league and probably the best returner in the league, but having the conversation of, is that our 5th best player, 6th best player?
Yeah.
I would much rather you.
I never considered him that high, but I felt they were all both top 10 worthy.
Well, that's because you don't have the cojones to put him in front of.
You thought about it until I said Pickens.
Yeah. I was, because that's what I did when I was doing it by myself. Well, we're spitballing this, and when I was doing it by myself, that's when I was like 5. I was like Aubrey, and then I was like, wait a minute, is George Pickens not? George Pickens is a top 5 player on this team.
George Pickens can be a top 3 player when this is all said and done.
Oh, I like where your head's at. If that is true, we're never calling a run play, and I love that. No run plays, just Pickens bombs. It'll be so fun. I'd like to apologize to Joe Hoyt for not putting hot dogs in his mailbox. That was a thing I saw on the internet. Somebody kept coming home to hot dogs in the mailbox in a bun and everything, and they were like really mad. I would be really happy about that.
Creative Edge says that's ridiculous. Dak's your franchise at number 1. Damn y'all.
No, see. So there's a balance here somewhere.
I'd like to challenge Creative Edge to please post your name so I could directly identify.
You a little bit?
No. I just if I have a discussion with folks, I hate to call them something other than their real name.
Poopy head. Oh, you just want to call them? Okay.
No, I'm going to say like Rich. I said Rich just said that we brought him down. That Rich putting his name out there. That's cool. I dig that.
Waiting for camp is almost as bad as waiting for the draft. No, hey, I'm ready for camp too. What did you say that was making me going to say a thing about a thing? You said
you were talking about was it about special teams, about Pickens? Those were the kinds of the things we were talking about.
You said a thing about a thing that was going to make me think about a thing, but then that thing has left. That thing has left my brain completely. I'm just going to stare blankly at this camera and see if it comes back. I had something. And you went after this. Oh, it's about Dak.
Dak.
We're back, baby. If it depends how you do your list. If your list is based on like who has the most impact on wins and losses, and you move your slider for, the quarterback.
Thank you, Marcus.
The quarterback has 3 times as much to do with winning as Micah. Therefore, Dak is number 1. You could do it that way. That's not the way I'm doing it. I'm probably also not doing it purely on how good they are at their job, or Aubrey is absolutely in the top 5. There's a balance there somewhere of I recognize that this position is super important and how good is the guy at it. And that is how I come to my final product. I will not show my work or my algorithm, but that's how you end up with Dak at 4. Brandon Aubrey is better at his job than Dak is, but I can't put the kicker above the quarterback. CeeDee and Micah are better than Dak at their respective jobs as well, and they play important enough positions that I can put them in front of Dak. But you can do it like the MVP thing and just say he's the quarterback. He's the most important. Dak's the best player on the team. And I won't fight you. That's just not the way I'm doing my business.
Yeah, I just would kind of just, yeah, of course, the quarterback is the most valuable player. Let's not get that wrong. But like I said, in the list of lists, when you just say, give me the 10, give me the 10, give me the 10 best players. And
Yep. And you go Micah and you go CeeDee, Tyler
Lamb,
Smith.
Lamb is a better player than Micah.
Okay, that's fine. I get it. You hate Micah.
No, I don't hate Micah. I listed him as number 2.
CeeDee, Micah,
They take
Tyler Smith, Dak, George Pickens, Blandor Osa, Aubrey, Turpin. I don't know who my 10th is. I hear you I hear you got Ferg in there. I'm looking for something else and I'm not finding it. So I might just have to go to Ferg also.
Well, the fact that you don't have one tells you that it's probably Ferguson, right?
It could be Diggs.
Wish Diggs would play.
Yeah, I mean he's not gonna play. That's tough. It could be Diggs.
I wish Overshown would play.
It could be Fowler. It could. That's tough. Cowboys, you just have to do a top 9. You can't do. I can't. Not after last year. You can't put Ferg in somebody's. He can't be in the top 10. He can't be. I'm putting Mozzie at 10. That's what I'm doing. Putting
Is it the hot dog or the bun?
It's always the hot dog, and it's always on the bun. Everyone is hating on Ferguson so much. Everyone is hating on Ferguson so much. It's so bad.
I'm not. I have him in my top 8. I'm not hating on him.
No, I think
Ferguson's going to be fine. I really do. I think
he's going to be fine too. But like a tight end who's fine is not supposed to be.
Well, I mean, fine like that. Like he's going to be ready to have a really good year. I think fine health wise. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's going to catch 50, 60 balls for 700 yards, and he's going to be a solid. Like he's going to be. I guess. Yeah, and I guess that's fine. That is. That puts you in the Cowboys top 10. That puts you there.
I think that
at 10. You think what?
Who could be a surprise top 10 guy that we're not thinking about?
As a Rock who's got an uphill climb. Booker. It's Booker. The answer is Booker.
Booker. Yeah.
The answer is Booker or BB. It's one of the 2 interior offensive.
I was thinking about BB too.
Yeah.
Like it came down to like I was thinking kind of Ferguson and BB. Dallas got a shot to have 3 really good interior offensive linemen this year.
And that would be fun. And then we could really block that up and we could see if 8 seconds later, Javonte Williams could run past him once he, gets up to speed.
June hot take. Awesome Richards is going to push Tyler Guyton for his job.
I like your hot take. I like your June hot take.
It's a June hot take for you right there.
I think it'll be less push and more if this guy falls on his face.
I think new coaching staff. I think new coaching staff here on this one. This one gives me the hope. The sponsors in the room are the scouts.
Yeah.
Coach is the one who got to coach this guy.
I love a new coaching staff that has no loyalty to other people's players. I love that.
That's where I'm going with this. That's why I think there's actually going to be a competition there. And that's why I think there's actually going to be a competition with Mingo and Tolbert for that 3rd spot.
I like Dro Nose with the hottest of hot takes. The 7th round rookie nose tackle, top 10, Jay Toya. That's what I'm talking about, Dro Nose.
I like that, man. There you go. That's
just throwing a name. I like that.
That's June radio right there. I love
Jaden
that.
Blue, number 6 on the top 10. Let's go.
All right.
All right, Brian, what's the best hot dog topping and why is it chili?
Oh, man, there's nothing better than a good chili dog, but then you got to go with the cheese and the onions on it as well. I know you hate onions.
Well, no onions. Yeah, you don't need onions.
No, you could dice up really small onions and put them in there. You can put the onions in your chili. It's all really good, too.
You don't do all that. You don't got to do all that.
Yeah, you do. You know what the key is, Jeff?
What's the key? A good toasted bun.
Yeah. You know what? Listen, and we got the 4th of July coming up Friday.
We do.
Do your consumers a favor. Don't skimp on the vessel.
Yeah, the bun's got to be right.
Don't skimp on it. Yeah. Don't buy cheap, flimsy buns. If you're cooking brats, buy a brat bun. Buy a sub bun that can hold the brat plus any extra condiments you put in it. So it's just not disintegrating in your hand.
You're right. You're right. And you don't want it flaking off. They can't.
If you're making hamburgers,
Mm-hmm.
get real hamburger buns. Don't get little tiny hamburger buns that can't hold everything.
Well, you can get a crappy bun if you also bought the crappy.
No,
burger.
you don't. No,
if you bought the crappy burger,
don't buy. It's our gosh dang nation's holiday, Jeff. Buy legitimately.
Celebrate your freedom with good meat.
It's why you have 7 jobs, Jeff. So you can buy good. So you can buy good. If you even if you grind your own hamburger meat, take a little brisket, a little chuck, fat content.
See, now there you can put a little onion into the meat, but it's got to be finely ground up because
now you're talking about meatloaf, Jeff. Now you're talking about meatloaf.
Oh, all right. Well, here's the meatloaf.
Number one rule, really. And listen, by the way, and big rule. Don't show up to your party empty-handed.
Don't do it.
At least bring a couple bags of ice. Just a couple bags. Everybody can use ice, but don't show up empty-handed. And don't go and buy, nothing against Walmart or in these places. Don't go buy those little store-bought trays of cookies. It ain't that hard to make your own.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It ain't that hard. It ain't that hard to make your own cookies. Brownies, stuff like, don't show up with just a tray or that cold vegetable, with the carrots and the ranch. Don't show up with that. Make your own. Kind of dice that stuff up. Make your own. Come up with your own dip.
Show up with a bowl of condoms. All right, everybody. Have a great day.
You're an idiot. I hate you.
You have no idea what anyone's going through. So be cool to everybody, Brian. We love you.
See you on